The temperature's dropping, snow's falling outside, and winter is fast approaching. While it may be cold and miserable outside, it doesn't mean that you have to be. If you have the right layering system, you can easily hike throughout the winter while staying warm and dry. Cold weather layering needs to achieve three things: moisture management, insulation, and weather protection. Using a multi-layering system can easily achieve those three requirements. Each layer has a specific purpose, and combining multiple layers will create the most effective system. Starting with the base layer's main purpose is to wick moisture away from your body. The fit of the base layer is the most important thing, as if it's closer to your skin, it's more effective at removing moisture from your body. You don't necessarily need to choose a heavy base layer, as the main goal of the base layer is moisture management, not to provide heat. There are a few different weights of base layers. You have light, medium, and heavy. But as I was saying before, you don't need to go for a heavy base layer. The fit is way more important. You can usually find a base layer in two different types of fabrics: merino and polypro. There isn't much difference between the two, other than that merino is a more delicate fabric. Synthetic materials like polypro tend to absorb odour more than merino does, so that may be a consideration if you aim to be out hiking for a long time. Synthetic base layers do dry quicker than merino, but they don't work quite as well when damp. An important note with the base layer is to absolutely stay away from cotton. Cotton will absorb moisture rather than wick it away from your body, and that can potentially make you very cold. For adding warmth to your layering system, you'll want to think about a mid-layer. The most common material for a mid-layer is fleece. This layer should provide warmth, but it also shouldn't affect the moisture wicking properties of the base layer, and in fact it should also have moisture wicking properties of itself. A common style of fleece is grid fleece. Grid fleece is light and it provides extra warmth and moisture wicking properties. My favourite mid layers are this Pro Thermal fleece hoodie from Macpac and this full zip fleece jacket from Decathlon, both of the grid fleece style. Now for pants, I've never really used a mid layer for my pant. It's always been an outer shell. Soft shell pants are an excellent choice for winter because they're lightweight, can wick away a small amount of water, and if they do get wet, they dry pretty quick. After your mid layer, you'll want to use an outer shell. The main purpose of this layer is to protect you from the weather. For winter hiking, this layer should be heavier and more durable, not a 1 or 2 layer Gore-Tex type model, rather a 3 layer. It is important that this layer also still allows some level of moisture to escape from your body. Having mechanical ventilation, like pit zips on many models, helps drastically. Full zip hardshell pants should also have a top zipper for the same reason. The reason why moisture management is so important is because sweating makes you cold. Saturating your clothes in sweat is just going to leave you cold and damp. As mentioned before, merino can still provide some level of warmth when damp, but it is nowhere near the same as if your clothes were still dry in the first place. You need to make sure that if you're using a hard shell for winter hiking, that it still allows the moisture to escape from your body. This is one of the main problems of a winter hiking layering system, is if you put on too many layers and too many protective shells, that it's not going to let the moisture escape from your body. So having mechanical ventilation, like pit zips, is an absolute must. A good hardshell fabric, and the most common, is Gore-Tex. Gore-Tex is breathable and allows for solid water protection. For winter layering, you will need to look for a 3-layer Gore-Tex jacket. Lesser 1 or 2 layer Gore-Tex shells aren't going to provide the weather protection that you need. This jacket is for when the weather really turns sour, so you're going to really want to have a bomb-proof option. You will also want Gore-Tex pants of the same construction, preferably full zip. Next up, you'll have your insulation layer. This layer is purely for adding warmth to your system. The insulation layer doesn't allow moisture to escape from your body, which is why you don't want to have it on when you're moving. The only times in which you would want an insulation layer when you're working is if it is so cold that you're not going to be sweating. Popular insulation layers are down and synthetic options, or you could use a heavier fleece. Down is good because it's the most light and packable of the 3 options. If you're hiking in a really damp environment and you're really relying on your insulation to keep you warm, then it might be a better option to choose something with synthetic insulation. If you do start sweating whilst wearing an insulation layer, it's very unlikely that the moisture is going to be able to escape from your body, and it's just going to end up saturating your layering system. Ensure that you don't forget your extremities. For your hands, you should always use some sort of liner glove. This is a light glove that you can always have on to ensure that there is some level of protection between you and the elements. On top of your liner gloves, you can have some sort of glove that has weather protection and light insulation inside. The glove you choose to go over your liner gloves really depends on how cold it is. If it's really cold out, you can also bring along with you a mitt when you stop. Your feet shouldn't be neglected as well. Make sure your socks are of a heavy fabric and still allow for moisture transfer. Choosing a merino option is your best bet. Headwear is simple. You want to cover up as much skin as possible. Start with a liner beanie, such as this light fleece beanie from Macpac. Also want a neck tube to, of course, cover up your neck and face and prevent you from breathing in cold air. Once you've stopped at camp, you can combine the liner beanie with a heavier fleece beanie. But not like that. While hiking in winter, you really need to still think about sun protection. If it's a clear day, you should use a hat to prevent the sun from getting onto your face and combine that with a hood. This will provide you with enough protection from the sun. If you put all of that together, you should have a perfect winter layering system that'll keep you nice and warm and dry. You don't have to avoid hiking during winter if you follow this simple system. Remember, the main things that you need to think about are moisture management, insulation, and weather protection, but ensure that you don't sacrifice moisture management. Using a multi-layering system allows you to mix and match your layers, so you can change your layering system to match the specific conditions. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you're going to be changing your layering system, or if you got your layering system perfect already, let me know what that is. See you next time and stay warm.